Hey everybody, what's going on? Emo Tempest here, and coming to you with a new deck profile. Something which I think a lot of people are excited about. Every time, I can't say enough, and how many times, every time I start playing Final Fantasy with a new crew, or new players come in, there is someone that always wants to play Typo, or asks about Typo. Thankfully for us, nothing has changed. um, And so I decided I wanted to come up with this one for you guys. This one's been fun. I do think it actually holds up now. This is version 3 I got to, and where I've had the most success with. I'm gonna go over the deck, talk about the changes, and then just overall, like, I guess, game plan. Um, I don't have too many different matchups for you guys to I guess, for me to tell you what's the best and the worst. Some of these decks I play more than others, obviously, but everything is tested for you guys, so I can tell you they work at least very enough. Uh, but yeah, let's get into it. Type O, right? What did we get this set? We got Queen, 9, and Ace. We also got Machina. These cards are great. They're very, very amazing. So let's do this in reverse order, right? We'll start with the Ace here. When Ace attacks or when Ace enters the field or attacks, if you control 2 or more cadets, draw a card. He counts as 1. All of these new ones have that effect if you have 2 or more, but they don't say other than, right? So as long as you have 1 more plus this person, these things happen. And then you can discard a card to choose a forward, dull it, and Ace gains 1,000 power. I love that for us. And so Ace is a really strong card that I think is just very valuable. It was a beast in the pre-release kits events and sealed. If you got 1 or 2 aces and at least a few of the other backups, like, you were cooking. King is an old one, but I like him because he's technically cheap. So you can discard another cadet instead of paying the cost to play King from your hand, and when he enters, choose a forward. He cannot block this turn. The biggest thing this deck does is make your opponent not block or not attack, if you will. It kind of makes them uninteractable, which is great. And aside from Ace being that, King does that, 9 does this as well. 9's one of the new ones, so if 9 is dealt damage, reduce that damage by 2k instead, and then choose a forward, dull it. You can only use this ability if you control 2 or more job cadets, and only once per turn. Once per turn is fine, man. On your turns, dull 1. On their turn before they attack, dull 1. That means on your turn, there's 2 dull things at least. There should be anyway. This duel is also very good when they play back attacks. We're thinking Sonon or anything. The new Ninja, I think there's one from this set that won't ever get played, but it's still very nice. Mustadio, if there are any FFT fans out there, don't get Mustadioed. 9 will prevent that. Again, it's really just get things out of the way and take in points of damage. Everyone else pretty much has haste too in this deck, or at least the other ones. Queen has haste, Machina gains haste, and 8 could have haste. And so you're able to get in 2 to 3 points of damage a turn, especially when there's no blockers. Queen's another one. I think she's just a solid 3-drop, right? Like, if Queen is attacking, Queen gains. If Queen is dealt damage by becomes 0 instead, and Queen cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. That's great. She's coming in, and if you try to block her, she's just gonna pump up and take something with her or kill something because she won't die. So, yeah, think about that. Very solid card. I thought she was great. We're playing 3s of because we need the copies, we need the names, we want to have cadets, right? It just doesn't matter. 8's an interesting one. The cost required to cast 8 is reduced by 1 for each cadet you control. So forward or backup doesn't matter. And when he enters, if you have cast 2 or more cards, 8 gains haste until the end of the turn. So you can play 9. That'll hopefully get you to 3 if you have the backup set up. And then just drop 8. He gains haste, dull something, swing in. He can be the second card. He reads just like Zidane. If he's your second card, it will automatically give him haste. So you also have Machina here. If you control 2 or more cadets, gains 3k and haste, and Machina can be chosen by your summons. Like, there's 2 of these guys with like innate protection when, it's fantastic. And then for everything else, you can just dull the pain away. And then armor break, choose a forward. If cost 5 or more, break it. I'll be honest, I haven't done this yet, but it's something nice to have. This deck has Typo has a little bit enough recursion for me to be very interested in this. So Zidane, Cecil are one ofs here. Flex picks, you can go 2 or 1 and 1, or as you come to play this deck, you'll make modifications. Of course, I don't doubt. This isn't set in stone. This isn't my deck, my regionals winning deck or anything, right? This is nothing like that. Even if it was, you would make changes anyway. Everyone does it. But Zidane fits well in this color. We like Zidane, has haste, can't be blocked. I told you a big part of this deck is squeaking in points of damage early, and then just 9 and ace come in and dole what's left and just finish the game. The longer this deck goes into like the late game, it's bad for us. We don't survive, unfortunately. Most decks will outvalue us. So I don't want to say it's an aggressive deck, but it's kind of an aggressive deck. So Zidane's good for that. Falls right into that, like our strategy. Snatching cards out of their hand. The Sync is kind of like your mid game play. Is one of your few mid game plays. So if you control 3 or more, has 9k, has plus 4k power, total 9. And if you control 7 or more cadets, gains Brave, and when attacks, can choose a character your opponent controls, break it. It's forward, monster, or backup, which is very interesting. It's pretty simple to get to the 7 the later the game goes, but I think I've only done it once. We never get that far otherwise. But she could probably get cut a few, maybe down to 2. Make space for another Zidane or Cecil if you'd like. The last thing I wanted to talk about forward-wise, I mean, I don't need to talk about Cecil, right? It's play one of these guys, and then they're protected. Done. Is the other ace. Now, I kind of want to go to a 3. Well, so I'm on a 3-2 split now with Lightning Fire, but I think I might want to go to the 3-2 split Fire Lightning. When he attacks, choose a forward you control, do 2k for each job cadet forward you control. And when ace enters the field, reveal top 7 cards of the deck. Add 2 cadets other than an ace among them to your hand. Shuffle the rest, return to the bottom. For purposes of actual hard removal, he's much better, and he's also really good for getting us what we need. And I think, I don't know, it definitely needs more testing. I'll be honest, I'm only playing 2 because I only own 2. I sold all the full arts I got, so couldn't really use that. He's relatively cheap, so I don't mind picking up a 3rd one just to test this out more. But I'll leave that up to you guys. I think it could go either way. He's a very strong card to have early on if you're able to pick stuff off. And just digging 7 deep is something that we all loved back then, and is still good, I believe, in something like Tidal. So, he's a really good card. I do like either one will die, right? So having a backup is always viable, and I haven't had an issue where I draw into one and I can't use it, right? Like at the very least, if I draw him and I have this guy, he's getting pitched for dull. If I have this guy and I have this guy, I'm just gonna wait till they get rid of him because they have to answer him. And then what's worse than they wasted an out for this is you play this guy who's drawing me cards and doling your forwards. It's just a really annoying thing to have for your opponent, or to just it kind of adds to that level of frustration where they're like, oh, another one kind of thing. And so anyway. Summon's pretty straightforward. I think what this deck lacks is removal, and so Amat is just safety for us, but also kind of removal. Alexander, we do target a lot, so being able to straight break a Cecil is very important. That's why all of these kill Cecil, and things of that nature. Odin just create EX burst. Bahamut makes it a 3 cost on our deal 10k and remove it. Thanks. Removal is very important to get things out of the way. Anything we can't just dole and bully our way through, we have answers for. That's kind of why I like this guy too, because sometimes you just need to, swing, deal 10k to something. Backups. Only one of this cater because we need names. We need cadets, I guess, for sync, but not my favorite. 2 Vermilion Birds, also a great game closer. The Class 0 Moogle I found was fantastic. It's 2. I was playing it at 1 originally, but I bumped it up to 2. Everyone with 1k more is more threatening in this deck, or feels more threatening in this deck. And this guy just covers everyone. Doesn't, it's not color specific or game specific or typo category, whatever. Your job Class 0 cadet forwards you control gain 1k. So pretty much the whole cast, right? You got Machina, blah blah blah. Very important to have. Helps with the amats for a few of these, and so real nice feel. I'm playing the Mitsuki because we need a little more removal towards like early mid game. When he enters the field, choose a forward to the 5k. So off the bat, we can do that. But if you control 3 Type O characters, so it doesn't matter if they're cadets or not, right? We can deal the 8k to something. So set up the Moogle, set this up, set up Trey, done. Vermilion as well. Type O is all that matters. Trey was another new one that we got this set. EX Burst, choose a cadet in your break zone and add it to your hand. Can be a forward, can be a backup. So you could effectively pick up another trait, get it, do the specials again. And then Rem. Rem was a tough one, right? Because there's like 4 of them. There's 2 backups and I believe 2 forwards, maybe more. And one of the forwards is partly a searcher, which I liked. And the other backup is just is not really my style or whatever. But this Rem I found to be useful the most. Rem enters the field, choose a category Type O card from your break zone and add it to your hand. Yeah, it's just I like the idea of where this deck gets punished, you get your cards back. And sure enough, I've been that guy the times I've played this, right? Like, I'll hit damage 1 Trey, hit damage 2 Rem, and then that's it. We're back, or damage 5 like Odin, and then that's it. We're back in the game, right? So for this deck, because of the playstyle, I found that bumping up the EX burst a little bit. We only have 14. It's not a big deal, but these 4 are very great for us, right? Like get something back, fantastic. Reeve, dig 3 deep, we love it. And so that's part of the plan here. Like you're paying less for these backups, and you always have the forwards in your hand one way or another. So recursion is strong for this one, strong enough anyway. And lastly, we're playing 3 Reeve. Aside from the EX burst thing I talked about, the other problem I had in the earlier versions, we were playing, what are their names? Alressia and the guy that searches Ahido cadets. And as much as we liked that, I never liked it enough because when I drew them later, it kind of sucked. But they also didn't have an impact on what we needed, right? Like they weren't cadets, so it didn't matter. And sure, they could search these guys, but I run into them all the time. Like having these guys at different points is fine. And I guess obviously it's better to search exactly what you want, but this deck cooks one way or another, I think. And so with Ace drawing or this Ace searching, digging, Reeve digging, you kind of have ways to get in there. And so I haven't had the problem where I'm like, oh, I need to search this one right now, turn 2, like on a 3 drop, right? Like it's not breaking, right? And so that's kind of what we landed on, just more EX burst for Reeves, because when this deck gets punished, it's hard. And so when the clapback starts and then we hit Trey, Rem, Reeve, Odin at some point, we're really happy. But yeah, anyway, this is the deck. Other than the Ace and the Ace stuff, like I said, it's just pretty much keep your opponent down. Hard removal when you can, and close out games with Vermilions if you need to. The deck is pretty straightforward. Let me know if you guys give it a shot. I hope you enjoy it. And to all my Type O friends out there, you're welcome, I guess. No, I don't know. Yeah, that'll be all. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them in the description below. I'll be happy to answer them as soon as I can. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.